Just when you thought they wouldn't deliver what they promised, they've only gone and delivered what they promised. The live broadcast has literally just finished, just about to finish, and we have jumped on here for our Masters special. It is Thursday at the Masters. This is Great Britain's second biggest golf podcast. This is Golf is Ruining My Life. It's too late, Tom. It's too late in the day. It's too late.
It's too late for Tom Price. Let me just say that straight off the bat. You'll already be hearing a slightly lowered tone of voice, which is my wife and children, and indeed tonight my mother, who is staying in the house with us, are all asleep. I've just got back from a slightly boozy celebratory dinner for my mother's 80th birthday.
Sure.
So it was quite a shock. I'll be honest, Tom, when I remembered I was doing this, probably about half an hour ago, and I was talking to someone about Justin Rose. We'll get onto that in a second.
Oh, we will.
And I was like, oh, God, I've got to go and do a podcast now. So hello from a quiet and slightly wine-muffled Golf is Ruining My Life Price HQ.
Oh wow! Do we think the Sky lads are dealing with this sort of problem tonight? They've not had to lower their tones in their booth, have they? You've not got Nick Doherty after a lovely Barolo. Like Justin Rose is looking great.
Can I just say, actually, talking about the Sky broadcast, which is flawless as ever.
Of course.
Fantastic broadcasters. They're all so good. But the one who, for me, just blows me away every time, because he only actually commentates for the majors now, and that is Nick Faldo.
Yeah, Sir Nick.
And Sir Nick Faldo,
Sir Nicholas.
His love of the game, his knowledge, his authenticity, the way he reacts to moments, you don't fake that. He's not bored. No. I think a big problem with a lot of pros and a lot of pundits is they can be a bit bored. And he's not bored. He's like, he feels everything that happens. So, but he's also got that knowledge, Tom. He's a multiple champion at Augusta. He knows what it takes, and he knows what will be going on in their minds. And this tournament is all in their brains. Like, it's the most mentally taxing professional golf tournament, the Masters. It's unbelievable.
There was a moment earlier when I was texting you, and I thought we were going to get a course record at Augusta National. I thought Justin Rose was going to do it. I think the course record is it's a 63 held by Greg Norman. I think currently Greg Norman and someone else. Yeah,
Jon Rahm, I want to say.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I think
okay. Now I'm going to have to look it up.
So there was a moment earlier where I was getting very excited about Justin Rose, and also across that whole leaderboard on the Thursday at the Masters, loads of big names, which I think is epic, which is what the majors do. They almost guarantee that you're going to get great names. There's nothing worse than watching an event.
Nicky Price, the Zimbabwean Nicky Price.
Thank you. Thanks, Price.
63.
There's nothing worse than looking at a leaderboard, and this happens on a sort of variety of PGA Tour events, and you go, I don't know any of those golfers. You just don't really tend to get that at the majors. And looking at it tonight, who's up there? Rory's up there, Tyrrell Hatton's up there, and Justin Rose is up there. Tom, what a round he had on Thursday.
Yeah, it's incredible. I was one of those moments in sport where you start to... sorry, I'm distracted by Oberg's green trousers. Can we very briefly touch on the fact that for the first round, Ludwig Oberg, who's had a great first round, 2 under, 3 under now, he's just birdied 15, in fact. He's birdied 15 right in front of Rory McIlroy, who's about to putt for double bogey. You'll all know this by the time you're listening to and watching this, but this is happening as we speak. But Oberg has got Masters green trousers on. That is a ballsy move from the young lad there, isn't
I think a green belt as well. I think it's a Masters green belt on there as well. He's really gone out there. Isn't it? Hasn't Sergio Garcia gone out in a pretty wild outfit as well? He's all
bright
red
yellow.
Bright yellow. It's giving Ian Poulter sort of 2007. And although I'm a big fan of Ian Poulter, I was never a fan of those trousers. The garments were all a bit too much for me.
It's giving dad bouncing back awkwardly from a divorce vibes. That's what those colours.
Your dad's drinking a lot again.
He spilt most of it down his yellow trousers. But sorry, what was your question just now? Sorry, the red wine's kicked in. I had 3 limoncellos at the end. What were you saying just now?
I was just saying how amazing it is to see the leaderboard as it is. Justin Rose having obviously a really good round. Tyrrell Hatton as well having a really good round. Rory having a really good round. Just a lot.
You might want to modify that. Rory
was having a good round.
He was having a good round. He gets to 15, and actually that's what I was going to say. What I love about this tournament in particular is, there's the famous quote about the greens are like chipping a ball down some stairs and trying to stop the ball on the third stair. The greens are incredibly hard. It is impossible, especially on 15, where the disaster's just unfolded for Patrick Cantlay just now, who chipped into the water twice.
2 in the water.
Twice he did that. Rory just chipped in the water and ended up with a double bogey. It's so precarious. What you are asking these players to do is to spin multiple plates in front of all their friends and family and loved ones, having never spun multiple plates before. That's how hard I think it is, because you just cannot make a mistake. And actually, sometimes you don't make a mistake and it still goes wrong. There is a real thing about Augusta. There is a real precarious house of cards. We've seen it time and time again where people collapse, don't they? They collapse.
And I mentioned it on the show before, I'm in a little betting sort of syndicate thing with a couple of friends, and we always put on the majors and the players as well. But I did a panicked swap out at the last minute, because if a player is outside...
Oh, Bassia's about to get hole in one.
I knew we should have waited till the live broadcast had finished.
Yeah, he's about an inch off a hole in one on 16. How that man has not been blown over, I don't know. Absolutely tiny. Sorry, yeah, go on. What were you saying?
I've totally forgot what I was saying. Oh, that's what I was saying. I brought in, I had like a bit of a wild card, and I brought in out the blue Jon Rahm, because there was a lot of talk about him on the Sky Sports broadcast, about him being in half decent form. I checked his LIV form, and he'd had a pretty good time on LIV, and I just got this little twinkle in my eye going, maybe it could be Jon Rahm's weekend, and he's had an absolute shocker. The man nearly snapped his driver over his leg. Did you see this?
Oh no, I didn't see this, because I was out celebrating my mum's 80th. So was he getting? Because that guy's got rage.
Fiery, yeah.
Hasn't he?
Yeah, I think was a really interesting point was because he's got that sort of shorter backswing. When he loses rhythm with it, the whole thing goes, and it looks like he's really trying to go after it, which with a short backswing, when you've got rhythm, looks okay, but when the rhythm goes, it's all over the place. And I didn't really realise this, but if you snap your driver on a tree or something, you're allowed to replace it.
You can't replace it.
No, you can replace it if it's on a tree, but you can't replace it if you snap it in anger.
Oh, and is that what's happened? He's done it in anger?
No, he didn't snap it, but he did. It looked as close to a snap as I've seen without it actually snapping. He went over his knee and went for it. But it's just as soon as I saw him missing greens and firing drives off up the right, I just remembered, this is the Jon Rahm we know. I thought we were with the old Jon Rahm. He's had a bad Thursday.
He's going to be. He's not got the temperament. And the thing about the Masters, which you see again and again, is the players who, if you the first day is all about. You can have a Justin Rose and shoot the lights out. Yep. That brings its own problems, because let's be honest, he's 44. He's my age. This is something we've seen before. Players who suddenly explode and have incredible rounds, and they're a bit older. And I said this on a pod a few weeks ago. It's very hard to sustain that over the 4 days, whether or not that's because you're older, whether or not that's because you think this might be my last chance. Who knows what's going on in their heads? But it's very common that older golfers have an incredible round or two, and everyone goes, Adam Scott's back. Justin Rose is back.
Yeah.
Jason Day is back. Here we go. And then they fall away. They never quite make it through 4 rounds. So that brings its own problems. However, the thing you cannot do on the first round is blow up. If you end up at the Masters 3-4 over par, you ain't going to win the tournament, mate. You ain't going to win it. So already at this early stage, we can look at the leaderboard.
Should we look at Nicholas Dunlap? Should we look at Nicholas?
I mean, he has
18 over. He's had my round. It's what I would do. It's probably what I would do at Augusta.
I actually think you're not far off that. But there's good players in there. Henley's a decent player. He's, obviously there's a few names in there who are like a Lathabal and stuff, who are former champions and stuff. Højgaard, that's a shame. He's 4 over.
Yeah, really bad day.
You've got to assume he's out. As you say, Jon Rahm, Tony Finau.
I know that was surprising me as well when I was looking at the leaderboard, seeing Tony Finau so far down. That's a surprise.
Yeah, and Bob Mack. That's the one that really,
Bob McIntyre.
He's left-handed. I think it's a harder course if you shape the ball the way he does, and he's a left-hander. But it's a shame to see Bob Mack not drop out. Of course, he can have an incredible round, but if you're that far off the pace after round 1, it's all but impossible to come back and win. It's very, very rare. And if any statisticians listening want to message us or want to write in the comments of examples where it's happened, I'm all ears. But people who shoot 3, 4, 5 over on that first day, they don't go on to win majors. Really, it doesn't happen.
I think what's really interesting as well this time round is we've been speaking about it for the last few days is the conditions out there. It's not breezy and it's warm.
Yes,
and we've said
lovely.
so many times on this show over the last few days, when the conditions are like that, it will favour the big hitters. That's why, until he put it in order, Rory was doing so well. Like the stats on his driving today have been absolutely amazing. He's been bombing it right down the middle. And that's the difference at this course. It is a long golf course. So if you can take off a load of yards by driving one down the middle and the air's warm and the ball's going further, you're going to have wedges into par fours. And that's going to make such a difference. I saw Bryson DeChambeau. He had 194 yards left on a par four. Like, that puts in perspective how long these holes are. And when it's warm and you can drive it down the middle and you can take a load of distance off, it's going to favour the big hitters. So if Rory can keep it up, could be his weekend.
Yeah. Well, let's hope so. I mean, he's now just dropped 2 shots on one hole. He's not hit a great shot in on 16. He's got to keep it together up here because at the moment the number's been set by Justin Rose, and I love Justin Rose, and I would love Justin Rose to win, but I think it's vanishingly unlikely that he's going to hold on to that score. Maybe I'm going to be completely wrong. The average winning score at the Masters is something like 9.4 under. It's between 9 and 10 under. He's on 7 under now. So if you said to Justin Rose, according to the laws of averages, Justin, if you get 4 birdies and the rest pass between now and Sunday, you're probably going to win the Masters.
Yeah,
it makes it sound strangely feasible. But I just think he's going to. I hope he doesn't. But I think he is going to start to dwindle. I think you cannot ignore Scotty. I think Oberg being there is really significant. It was Oberg's first Masters last year, and this
when he
is
put
his
it in the
second
water.
Masters.
When
he put the water on
11,
12, 13,
12?
something like that.
Corner, Amen corner way.
Yeah. But another thing that's interesting, Tombo, to take heart from at this early stage, and this is a UK podcast. We don't have to be impartial. We can be as partial as we like.
Yes.
And I'm really happy to see a lot of European flags.
It's really exciting.
Scotty and English are the only American flags in the first chunk, and obviously English. His surname is English, so he doesn't really care.
He's pretty much there anyway.
Exactly, but there's some great names up there.
I love Tyrrell Hatton on this show.
Let's talk about Tyrrell Hatton
because my mates have been messaging me being like, "Look at Tyrrell Hatton." I'm like, "Yeah, I get it." Yeah. I can't see this happening for Tyrrell. I wish it would. My God, I wish it would because I think he's a great golfer. Signed to Modest Golf over in the UK, which is Niall Horan for One Direction's company. Yes, it's just cool. Yeah. Would really love him to do it. But we know his temperament can be up there with Jon Rahm. So when it starts to go astray a little bit, you worry, can he get the pars? Can he hold it together? Can he scramble? Because as you say, that's the interesting thing. The previous winning scores at Augusta, like as you say, it might be like the average is 9 or 10 under, but the last few have been like 16 under, 15 under. So if you can put in a good score on day one, you sort of just have to hold on for those 3 days that are after it. So you just hope that you can do that.
Yeah, they've been quite. I mean, apart from Dustin Johnson won it in 2020, but that was that was in November because it was COVID year.
Yeah.
So we kind of have to eliminate that one really because it's a totally different course at that time of year. But then you look at the averages; they have been in the last few years. Scotty 11 under, Rahm 12 under, Scotty again 10 under, Matsuyama 10 under, Tiger. Gosh, Tiger was the one before that 13 under.
What Patrick Reed?
15 under. That's incredible.
I've had a few people again message me saying Patrick Reed's one to watch. Can you see the leaderboard now, Tom? Can you see where he is? Because obviously with him being on LIV, he's another sort of unknown entity. You don't know what he's going to shoot. That was the problem with my bloody Jon Rahm bet. Is he's played well in LIV, and I thought, well, that might mean something. It means less than you would maybe think it does. Where is it? Do you know?
Yeah. Patrick Reed's on 1 under at the moment. He's on 1 under. He's there or thereabouts. I mean, look, just to very quickly to finish on Tyrrell, I'm going to be really interested to watch Tyrrell over the next few days because Tyrrell is the best wedge player in the world, and that will come into its own at Augusta. He will have incredible precision if he doesn't rip it too much. That can be a big problem, and you're going to see that again and again when people hit these shots with just too much spin on it. It's like, guys, hit those low. Take a leaf out of Tom Green's book. Hit some bunters, guys.
Hit the 4-iron bunt. They were saying this on the commentary, though, weren't they? I don't know if you heard them say this. No. That style of golf, taking a 4-iron, 3-iron, or as Faldo was saying, even a 2-iron, what he had in the bag back in the day, and sort of bunting it down the middle just to keep it in play. You don't really see them doing it anymore. And then you look at what's happened to Rosie on the last few holes. He's on for course record. I think he's going to do it. He puts 2 in the trees up the right-hand side with spraying driver a little bit.
Yeah. And he hit the most incredible shot in. His third shot in was 100 and something like 180 yards in up the hill on 18. And he put it really close. He nearly held the putt for par at the end. He really did nearly shoot 8 under. Tom Green, should we stop for ads and then come back for a little bit more Masters analysis? Should we do that?
Oh, here's some products and then we'll chat more Masters after these. Right, Tom, very quickly. I thought it was interesting what people were saying about Dustin Johnson as well. Previous Masters winner, as we say, won 20 under. It was the COVID year. I found it really interesting when people are analysing his golf because he's such a great golfer. But the LIV effect on him, I don't believe that he's been affected by playing against a field that's not as good. I genuinely believe Dustin Johnson has got the life he wants and now actually isn't bothered about winning anymore. I can't remember who it was on the commentary tonight just said, he's lost his edge. Where's that killer instinct from Justin Johnson? Yeah. He's got his hundreds of millions. He's got his Hughes boat. He's got his wife. What? I don't care.
But wasn't that something that was on the cards anyway? Wasn't DJ beginning to... I think before he signed with LIV, it wasn't a huge surprise when he signed with LIV because he wasn't at the height of his powers as much. And so don't forget, people like Dustin Johnson going to LIV and moving over to LIV, and to an extent Brooksy, and I guess, there's a couple of others as well, have made room, have given us a bit of space to see other people come through, to see, I don't know, like Morikawa's and Fitzpatrick's and other people on the PGA come through. So they've made a bit of room, I think.
Yeah.
Talking of other LIV stars, Brooksy's not had a great start. He's two over. He's nearly it. I couldn't see him shooting the lights out and getting back in there, having shot 2 over on the first day. It's just that it's a psychological thing as much as anything. Just being 2 or 3 over par when there are already leaders in the 6, 7, 8 under bracket. It's just incredibly hard to come back from that.
What are the things that you've avoided doing today, Tom, so you can watch the golf? Because there is so much that I've not achieved in my life that I should have achieved on Thursday because I've sat on the sofa. And the great thing I managed to pull out tonight was I managed to get Love Island turned off for the golf. And Em said, why? And I said, it's my job. And she went, it sort of is actually now. And I was like, yeah, it sort of is actually. We're golfing for our jobs. So
that is it.
I've been allowed to do it, but I feel like there's loads of things I was supposed to spray the patio today. That didn't happen because I was watching the golf.
No, but you can always just get some sort of mobile phone harness. And so let me tell you something. I was presenting my radio show, which I co-host on Magic Radio here in the UK between 4 and 7 every single weekday.
Nice
and
plug.
I was coming off this podcast is getting so big now, Tom, that we could probably do with the numbers, I'll be honest. it very much used to be the other way around, but things are changing at the moment. And this is absolutely true. I'm trying to remember who it was. I think it was Zalatoris. I was watching the Masters on an iPad. I wasn't driving the desk today, so my co-host Kat was driving the desk today, so I was just sitting basically at a computer with a microphone and very much like this, and every couple of songs I have to pop up and say things. And it was me coming off the back of a song, and it was Harry Styles, and it was just finishing, and just as that was happening, I looked and saw Zalatoris had shot something, and I swear to you, Tom, I so nearly said, Will Zalatoris on Magic Radio. I promise you. And I had to have a moment where I was like, oh my God, that would have been...
Don't do it.
Yeah, so I have basically been doing my radio show, but my goodness, I've been distracted. And that's early on. Those are the first few holes, but it's just the purity of watching it, that bright green thing. And the other mistake I made was I put the subtitles on, so I was reading out the subtitles whilst because the sound was
trying to broadcast.
Yeah.
Trying to broadcast. Yeah. We are strapping in for what is going to be such a good weekend of golf, especially because what we've seen on Thursday. I'm going to ask you the question that I think everyone is maybe whispering and talking about, because he has such an ability at the majors, especially at the Masters, to go out and shoot an awful score on Thursday and Friday and then spend the whole of the weekend sorting it out and just about losing. Rory's had a half-decent Thursday, right? Is the Masters 2025 the one Rory is going to win, based on what we've seen on Thursday?
Based on 3 things of what we've seen. Forget what happened on 15, which is what he's got to do now. Based on the conditions, first of all. They're blissful. The conditions are gorgeous, right? They are, as you say, the warmth is going to suit the long drivers like Rory.
Favour the bombers.
Based on his form going into it and what we've seen from him in the last few weeks, and based on what he has done elsewhere on the course today, based on those three things, this is going to be as close to Rory's year as it's been for a long time. I really think that. I also think, I'm afraid, I do think Justin's going to fall away. I hope he doesn't.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't.
But I think Justin will fall away because one of the commentators was saying on Sky Sports, Justin's not played great and he's probably going to want to spend a couple of hours on the range. I think it was Faldo, actually, because he's clearly had a few issues. So, look, I think, it could be Rory's year. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Rory is going to put himself in the best contention he ever has done. Based on what we've seen on Thursday, he was flawless with that driver. It was absolutely incredible. It was a masterclass to see. Hitting it so long and so straight. The idea of hitting these high 2-foot draws is just my dream. I'd love to be able to hit. And like shaping, some of the shaping as well. We've not even spoken about that. Scotty Scheffler having, I think the ball was above his feet and he decided to hit the fade, which is just absolutely ridiculous. Like, this is a lot of the golfers are doing this, but Scheffler was in particular doing it. Obviously, we know that undulations at Augusta National are insane. You often find the ball above or below your feet, and normally you would just accept what that's going to do to your shot and go, do you know what? Okay, ball above the feet, I'm going to hit a draw. He was hitting fades. Seeing Rory do a bit of this as well and shaping shots, and especially there's so many drives as well where you have to try and maybe put a little bit of draw on it, try and get it to run away and get those extra 40 yards. He was hitting all of those. My worry is he's going to put himself into contention and it's going to be him and Scheffler batting it out on Sunday afternoon, and I think that's his head's going to fall apart once again.
Oh no, I think if he gets,
golf's going to be great. I think his head's going to kill him on Sunday.
I disagree. I think if he gets into a match play situation, Rory is an absolute beast. I would love for Rory to be in a Greg Norman and Nick Faldo 96. You're probably too young to remember, but the match play situation there, I would love to see Rory there. Very quickly, Tom, before we finish, just obviously a lot of you, we published this on Thursday night, last thing. You're listening on Friday. We're going to do another episode tonight, by the way, after the second round. I've got in front of me, Tombo, a couple of all the tee times, basically, so we can see what good groups there are, because a lot of you are going to still be working on Friday and wondering, when can I jump on TV, which would be a good one for me to watch? When can I get the iPad on when I'm still at work? Shall I go through a couple? Yeah,
well, Rory teed off late today, so he'll be early tomorrow, I guess.
Rory will be early tomorrow, yes. So starting.
Do you think they do that, by the way? Do you think they put Rory out late on a Thursday because it'll make sure people are watching? They must do that. They're not stupid, are they?
Oh, yes, box office.
They know what they're doing, right? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So looking at the round two, so this is on Friday. This is all UK times, okay? Sorry if you're listening or watching elsewhere. The first sort of noticeable kind of interesting one there is about 10-3, which is Victor Hovland, Schauffele and Adam Scott. Hovland, not too far off the beaten track at the moment. Hovland's in good shape. Then you've got Rory just after that. So things are good from about 2:45 today, if you're listening on Friday the 11th. 2:45, you've got Victor Hovland. Then the group after that is Oberg, Bhatia and McIlroy. That is a three ball. That is one hell of a three ball, right? That is at pretty much 3 p.m. on the nose. And then get this, it gets better. Well, it doesn't get better, but it's similar. 15 minutes later, so 3 o'clock today, you've got Bryson, Shano and Hideki Matsuyama.
Oh, lovely.
So if you're going to be hitting a time to really just, maybe you want a sort of target to finish your work today, make it 3 p.m. because that is when brilliant three balls are teeing off. There's loads of others, of course there's loads of others, but those stand out for me.
3 p.m. on Friday is when we all need to be tuning into Sky Sports and watch this. It has been such a great Thursday of golf. I think it's been an amazing opening day at the Masters. It's been a joy to watch. We'll be here, as Tom says, tomorrow night to discuss it. If there's any questions, if there's anything you want to discuss, we'll be here again, as I say, in 24 hours. So the Toms at golfisruiningmylife.co.uk. If you're watching on YouTube, stick a comment down below. Make sure you hit that bell icon and make sure you're subscribed. If you're on Spotify, go and give us a 5-star review. We're so near 1,000 now, which is really amazing. So please go and do that. And watching the Masters and then do this podcast means I can't have 1,000 beers. So you are ruining my Masters experience, but that's okay. I'll forgive you.
It hasn't stopped me. I had one, which is has quite the impact on me. Good night. Lots of love.
See you tomorrow.
I really like you.
Bye.
Stop it.